Good morning. Rise and shine, my friends. Today is Friday, June 14th, and this is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm Katherine Hobbs. Thank you so much for starting your morning with me. Slather on your sunscreen and toss on a baseball cap because today will be all sun with a high of 95 degrees. A very happy early Father's Day to all the dads out there, and lots of love to anyone who finds this day particularly challenging. I'm sending an extra special Father's Day shout out to my own dad, who will undoubtedly spend the day tending to his beloved flock of pet hens. If you're looking for a way to celebrate with your own father figure, or if you want to jump on some early Juneteenth celebrations, I've got you covered. More on that in a moment, but first, let's get you the news you need to get this weekend started. Yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously voted to toss out a challenge to the FDA's rules for prescribing and dispensing abortion pills. They ruled that the anti-abortion doctors who brought the challenge through their group, the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine, failed to show they suffered any real harm. The decision provided a legal off-ramp, allowing the current FDA rules to remain in place without directly addressing the regulations. Meanwhile, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz's efforts to protect access to in vitro fertilization were blocked on Wednesday as Democrats instead rallied around their own version of the legislation. They said that Cruz's bill left too many legal loopholes and still allows states to restrict IVF. The bill was criticized from the right as well. The Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank, called Cruz's approach a, quote, a solution in search of a problem and an attempt to prop up the fertility industry. Well, at this point, we know it's all been a little bit of a rough NBA Finals for the Dallas Mavericks. The Boston Celtics hold a 3-0 series lead after a 106-99 win over the Mavs Wednesday night. That's bad news for Dallas, but good news for Celtics fans like Esteban Bustillos. He's a reporter with WGBH in Boston, but his hometown is Dallas. He's in town reporting on the series and sat down with KERA's Stephen Becker, a Mavs diehard fan and the executive producer of our show, Think.
All right, Stephen, so before we get into the series, let's get into the culture of both of these fan bases. You're here in Dallas. How would you describe Mavs fans and what this finals run has meant to them?
Well, it's been so unexpected because they've been playing with house money since the first round. You know, the Mavericks were the 5th seed in the conference, which is to say they've been in the underdog seat every one of these series, and yet they've somehow managed to triumph. And so it's an interesting consideration for the fan base because on the one hand, you're just excited to be here in a position that no one thought you would be in. On the other hand, it's like, you could see the ultimate prize just in your grasp. And you would like to try and finish off this miracle run, one that, of course, is, let's just say, slipping away as we sit here right now.
These fan bases have two very different histories where the Celtics been here in the NBA since the start of it.
1700s, right?
17 titles. They're trying to make it 18. Dallas, that won 2011 title. I mean, do you think that sort of impacts how people look at the Mavs where, it's not, they've never had that sort of dynasty. They're trying to build up to that status?
Sure. I mean, the Mavericks, as good as they've been really over the last 20 plus years, are still kind of the little brother here in town with the Cowboys. And also, not for nothing, I think generally the local sports fans are kind of satiated from that Rangers World Series title in October. It is a younger franchise in the grand scheme of things, and so we don't have this multi-generational fan base like they have with the Celtics.
You mentioned, and I agree with it, the Cowboys sort of reign supreme here. I think in Boston, it's a rare case where everybody cares very intensely about all four of the major MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL teams about the same, which is, again, a rare thing. Obviously, the Celtics have the 17 titles. That 18th would be huge. That would give them the most in the NBA. And Celtics fans, I would say, intensely loyal. They actually travel really, really well, and I actually spoke to some of the Celtics fans from Texas, like Matthew French, who lives in Fort Worth, outside of the American Airlines Center, before Game 3.
So just to have the opportunity right here in the backyard to go see our favorite team, and not only that, this is the best team we've seen. We think they're going to take it this year.
Now with the 3-0 lead the Celtics have, this looks like it's going to be a tough going for the Mavericks? Realistically, where do you see this series going?
Well, it's going to take a real Flag Day miracle, I think, to prolong this series. If we're being honest, the Mavericks needed to make it happen in Game 3 to have any kind of realistic hope.
Yeah.
And not only did they not, but to have that big comeback that they had at the end of the game only to not follow it all the way through, that's got to be gut-wrenching. And I think that they'll come out with some fight on Friday night. It's like they'll play loose, I think, because it's like, what do you have to lose? But, best case scenario, I think we're looking at kind of a gentleman's sweep here, as they say, with a possible 4-1 Celtics series win. And hey, if you're a Celtics fan, I don't know, would you drop that one game for the ability to celebrate the title on your home court? It's worth considering. Esteban, welcome to town. I hope you had a good trip and really enjoyed talking all things Mavs Celtics with you.
Stephen, this has been great. I appreciate it, man.
That was KERA's Stephen Becker talking to WGBH's Esteban Bustillos. The Mavs tip off against the Celtics tonight at 7:30 p.m. After 62 years shrouded in mystery, the wreck of Sir Ernest Shackleton's last ship has been found. An international team led by the Royal Canadian Geographical Society found the wreckage off the coast of Labrador. The quest was found using sonar scans 390 meters below icy waters. The ship lay with a broken mast, which likely snapped after the ship struck ice on May 5, 1962. Okay, y'all, we are circling back to those fantastic events coming up this weekend to honor both Juneteenth and Father's Day. The Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Garden will host their Father's Day and Juneteenth Family Fun Weekend, and they're going to be featuring several events like a vintage car show, Artscape the Sequel, a petting zoo, a floral fashion exhibit, live music, and so much more. There's also the 2024 Juneteenth 4K Walk and Festival at the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. The event begins with a Freedom Walk and ends with a free community festival. For more going on across North Texas, check out KERA.org/calendar. Thank you so much for starting your day with me today. I'm so glad you take a few minutes to listen each morning. Be sure to subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA newsletter, also by yours truly at KERAnews.org, and check us out on Instagram and Threads at KERATX. I'm Katherine Hobbs. We'll chat again on Monday.